So let's take a look at using the Gutenberg editor for WordPress. This is the default way to edit posts in WordPress 5 and you can still get it as a plugin in earlier versions of WordPress. So when you create a new post with the Gutenberg editor it looks something like this. It's a much cleaner, nicer, more modern interface. You have title and then you've got an area here called Write Your Story. Let's do a quick title. And then Write Your Story is what's called a block. So posts are now made up of blocks. An easy way to start thinking of them is as paragraphs. So think of a block as a paragraph as a block if you're just going to have text. So we can paste in some sample text here. Now at the end of this, if I hit return, I'm in a new paragraph or new block and I can paste in some more. Let's put a third one here as well. And now we have 3 paragraphs or 3 blocks. Notice as I move my cursor over each one I have these controls here on the left. The arrows allow me to move the blocks around so you can easily move paragraphs around. So I'll move this paragraph up. You can also use these little handles between the arrows to drag, and when I do that I can drag the entire block and you can see where I can place it according to these blue lines. So I can move it say to the top here. So it takes a little getting used to, but once you do you can easily move blocks around. You can also hit the plus button to add a block in between other blocks. So when I do that I'm going to get the choice of what type of block to add. The same thing is true as if I hit this plus button here. Then I get the choice of what type of block to add. So a standard block is a paragraph block. So adding the paragraph block allows us to basically type text. And once you are editing in a block you can use these controls here at the top kind of like a word processor. So I can justify everything to the right for instance or center it. I can bold text, italics, make something a link, strike through. You have more controls here. Things like duplicate a block. You can easily insert before or after. You can see there's some keyboard shortcuts as well. You can add it as HTML if you really want to. And you can remove a block. This is how you get to the ability to remove a block, which can be frustrating if you don't know that it's there. Now there are other types of blocks that you can add as well. So you can add, for instance, an image block. And then once you do it's an extra block in here and I can choose something from the media library, example, select it there. And this is a different type of block. It has different controls here at the top. And in this case with the image I can shrink it down. I have the ability to wrap it so I can say align right and you can see how it aligns right to the blocks that then go to the left. Notice also I have controls here on the right. You have document and block, and when you select a block here and you have block selected you have some settings for that one there. So I can do different things like for instance a drop cap, color settings, that kind of thing. If I select this image here I'm going to have different settings for the image. So depending upon what block you've got you have controls here. So that's how you add different blocks. There are a lot of different things that you can do with blocks. Like for instance here at the end here I'll hit plus and you can see I could add a button as a block and I can edit the text and the link. I can do a shortcode. You can just still do shortcodes inside of text, but this allows you to add a block that's just a shortcode. There's the more divider. You can do a embedded Twitter piece. You've got all sorts of different elements here. You've got pre-formatted things, pull quotes, coding, tables. You've got page breaks, spacers. You've got different widgets that you can do. You've got different things that you can embed. And you're going to get more of these depending upon which plugins you have and what your theme also provides. So there's lots of cool different blocks that you can include and you can expand that as you customize WordPress. And that's the basics. That's how you use it, and when you're done you can publish it just as before. If you switch to document you get a lot of the familiar controls like what type of publish format you want immediately or pending or scheduled. You get categories and tags. All that stuff's under document. Block here is just about what block is selected. You can hide this as well using this button. And you can preview very easily and see exactly what it's going to look like before you actually publish it. So that's a quick look at the Gutenberg editor.